And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is time for the world's greatest MMA podcast. We talk about combat sports. We are the Weighing In Show with my man, the real punk, Josh Thompson, and me, John McCarthy, here to talk about what's going on in the world of MMA, and fights are coming our way now. Hello.
Finally, shit. I'm getting tired of just talking to you.
The best thing you could do.
Yeah. It's so funny, though, because we talk between shows as well, and I'm like, man, I talk to you, Miss McCarthy, Podcast Dave, all the time. Swear. It's like having a side chick, but just more.
We're the only people that will talk to you. That's why you keep calling back.
It's very true. This is very true. Oh, man. Well, we have a great show, and just I'm pumped for all of this, man. And this fight coming up this weekend, I've been chomping at the bit since December. Actually, before that, as soon as this fight was announced, you and I were talking about it. But since December, when we got done with the last show of the year, I was like, man, when are the fights going to come back? And thank God it's this fight, this main event. This is the fight that we've been waiting for. I can't imagine it being a shitty fight. I can't imagine it being a snooze fest. Now, obviously, when people say that, it ends up fucking up. But
I know you slept rocket.
Fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen. Fingers crossed. I cannot wait to watch this damn fight. Calvin Kattar versus Giga Chikadze. John, I can't tell you. I don't even know how this fight could potentially go. Everyone keeps telling me that Giga's going to drop him to the body with kicks, and it's going to be over. It's going to be this and that. I'm like, but the tightness of Calvin Kattar's boxing, the speed of getting in and getting out, and the ability for him to go ahead and wrestle just a tiny bit, I think will make things interesting.
I think it'll make it interesting. I do think that Calvin is not just a boxer. He is a guy that he's got the full, complete MMA game. He can take the fight to the ground, and he needs to absolutely use all of those skill sets, throughout. The transitions are going to be what's going to get him the win. If he decides to get into a striking battle with Giga, probably not the best idea, and it's not the road to victory for him. The more that he can make this a complete MMA fight, that's where his experience as a fighter is going to shine over what Giga does. So it'll be interesting. But before that, we have got someone very special that we're going to have on our show, an interview with the man, the guy who has done it. No one else can claim the things that he can claim. Olympic gold medalist, UFC flyweight bantamweight champion. We got Henry Cejudo, and so that is our interview for our Wednesday. All right, it is my absolute honor and pleasure to bring in our guest for the evening, a guy that needs no introduction. We're talking about Olympic gold medalist, UFC flyweight champion, UFC bantamweight champion. That's right, we're talking about Triple C, the man, the myth, the legend, Henry Cejudo. What is up? The messenger, baby. What's happening?
What's up, Big John? What's up, Josh? Just living the dream, man. What do you guys think of all that gold back here?
Looking like you got a couple of trinkets, man.
Just like you said, man, you ain't nothing but a gold digger.
Collecting shit.
I love it, man. Bro, I was getting blinded when you turned the light on. It started shining back. I was like, all right, man, now you just showing off. That's what you're doing.
All right, that's the real bling bling.
Oh, that's nice, man. Hey, how did this whole Triple C thing get started? What was it just you just sitting around going, you know what, I'm going to call myself this, or someone come up with it because, you got the Triple C?
No. It became Triple C, but then it started kind of becoming cringe. I mean, I got to kind of haul it back in. But honestly, it all started when when the whole when I was in the fight TJ for the second time. I knew that the flyweight division was on the line, and Charles always picked on me about being, be charismatic, man. Like, be a salesman or whatnot. He's always been that guy. And I finally took him up on it once I beat Demetrius because they were trying to get rid of the flyweight division. So that's kind of how I started. So that's why I came out with the snake. I pulled the snake out of the bag and I whipped it down.
Yeah.
And then they started calling me the king of cringe, and I was like, dude, this is actually kind of cool, man.
Did you feel any pressure though, like to perform now after all those type of things? Because for a lot of people, they're like, I don't want to talk shit because like if I don't perform well, then you become the heel kind of position. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you gotta have fun with it, bro. Like if you don't have fun with it, it's like I at the end of the day, dude, I'm a killer, bro. I'm a calculated killer, man. Like I know that the psychology too, man. Like I'm betting my money on me.
Yeah.
And I'm taking every edge that I could get. So I don't think I'd ever go back to humble Henry because it's funner this way. It really is, man. It sounds a little cynical, but it helps drive me and push me because I know everybody wants to see my ass get knocked out.
Not everybody, man. Not everybody, man. I happen to enjoy the little bit of theatrics that you're putting into that. And
okay.
The part is this: it's no different than Chael. When you know Chael or you know, man, he's a good guy, man. We're talking about he's completely different than what the persona is and what people are taking there. And I know, but it's the truth.
I can't break character, guys.
You cannot deny.
This is too much.
What it is when you know it's just a shtick, and you realize, like he was saying, like how nice you guys are, how good you guys are, and like to be around and just your presence around, you know. And we were hanging out in Arizona last time. It's just nice to be around, just talking shop.
Yeah,
and it's great, man. So when people get to know the real you, they'll be like, man, this ain't like the guy on TV. This ain't this guy. What is this? This guy's cool as hell. So,
I'm like that little kid that likes to play with fire and just gets burned just to feel the burn.
Like, your problem is once you get burned, you go, let me try that again.
Yeah, I kind of liked it. Let's do it again. All right, go ahead, John.
Let's talk about this. You threw your hat in the ring. All right, you retired when you beat Dominic Cruz. You defended that bantamweight title, and you said, I'm done. You've gotten married. You have a daughter. Congratulations on your life and what you're doing. You're doing great things with your podcast. You got a gym that is hot, but you threw your hat in the ring saying, man, Max Holloway just dropped out. Dana White, give me a call. You got my number. What's going on? When is it that we're going to see you back in that cage?
As soon as I start seeing some zeros behind that check, you know. In reality, man, this is the thing, guys. I'm happy with my career. If I ever come back or don't come back, like I'm more than satisfied, man, because I've done something that, you know, if it ever gets broken, which you know somebody will. Anyways, I'm satisfied with my career. I think the money's got to be worth my legacy now. But at the same time, I do like that Volkanovski fight because he's short, bro. He's short, and my speed is going to be a huge problem for him. My distance game, my wrestling. I bet my money on my wrestling, man. You know what I mean? Like I used it when I had to beat Demetrius. I used it when whenever I'm in trouble, dude. If I'm not hurt.
The thing is I said the same thing last week. People were criticizing me for it, but I said, like I said, the speed's going to be a factor because the thing is the speed to get in and out. He's got a long reach, believe it or not. Even though he's short, I want to say he's got a 71 or 72 inch reach for such a small guy. I mean, that's a pretty big reach for someone who's I think only 5'5", 5'6", somewhere around there.
Yeah. But check this out, Josh. Once you recognize distance, bro, none of that stuff matters, man. The distance is what gives you the timing. I swear to you, I love that Holloway fight for me too.
Yeah. I see the Holloway fight being a lot better. Yeah, in terms of that. But I'm saying with him, yeah, I agree with you. The length and the reach, if he extends it all, your speed on getting in the takedowns is there all day.
Yeah, because I think people underestimate size. And size does matter, man. But when you're technically sound and you have strong bases, I don't know. I think that's the biggest thing that I think that Volkanovski just sees me as a small dude, and he's right. But just the level competitor that I am, dude. I don't think. I wish he sees that a little bit more, because then he would probably accept my challenge. You know what I'm saying?
I think the people that are counting you out haven't gone back and watched the Marlon Moraes fight. And been like, hey, you made the in-between round adjustments and came out and just dominated the rest of the fight after. Like that first round, it was a tough first round. But then after that, like even towards the end of the first round, it was like, boom, started figuring it out, and just started taking it away.
Yeah.
I think people that are underestimating you haven't went back and truly watched that fight.
Yeah. hard fights like that. And then I've had fights where with Dominic Cruz, and I'm able to just to break him down and chip him away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
that fight with Dominic Cruz. Let's talk about it. Dominic made some comment. He felt that it was stopped early. I did not. I thought he was in trouble. You'd hurt him bad, and it happens. This is what happens to the fight game.
I think it was 13 or 11 unanswered calls, all with the same hand.
Yeah.
Boom, boom.
Yep.
If I'm able to hit you 11, 13 times with the same hand, dude. And you know what happens too, John, is like, and you've probably witnessed this a lot as a referee, is you wake him up.
Oh yes.
If you watch him, his body went limp and boom, go again. You wake him up. They're like, you know what I mean, for that quick second.
Honestly, it was one of the things, because boxing is definitely different than MMA. But when MMA was first coming up, and I witnessed a guy get knocked out, I go in to stop, and he gets hit, and he comes right back. And I went to the ringside physicians, and I said, "Let me ask you a question. Is it possible?" And they go, "No." I go, "I'm telling you, I'm seeing it." Right? And they go, no. It would just make it worse. But it's one of the things that, we learned. Yes, you can. Those neurons get pulled apart, and they're not, and all of a sudden they can get popped back in place and start firing right away. And so it definitely happens all the time. That's why sometimes you watch guys and you go, you could have ended that fight if you stopped hitting him, because he popped back before that referee stepped in there.
That's gold, John. That is freaking gold. People. I think that's something that's made me very successful too. Is like I know how to finish the race, bro. Like I know if I exert my power, dude, my later rounds are gonna suffer. You know what I'm saying? So there's like a threshold, and when you understand that threshold in fighting, dude, that's what makes you dangerous, dude. Volkanovski actually has that.
Yes, he
He
does.
understands how to reserve his tank and stay on you. You know what I'm saying? With not giving you free space or free air.
Is that the only fight that really motivates you to come back? That Volkanovski, or the 145 pounds, so you could be the quad C? I mean, is that it, or are you looking at potentially even like a Petr Yan fight?
Yeah, no, that's it. I think Peter's good, man. I think Peter is freaking tough, dude. I will say that. The dude is a killer, but he doesn't scare me, dude, because if somebody like Sandhagen's able to take him down, if I get to his legs, man, I'm finishing. I can Khabib that fight for 5 rounds, dude, like that. It'll be boring as hell, but I will get that W. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it's at the end of the day, it's about winning.
Because you look at guys, the guy that's really only kind of really legitly beat him was Magomedov at 135 when he fought him. Was it ACB at the time or ACA? ACB. And what he did was he out-wrestled him. He just kept wrestling him. So if you put the level of wrestling, obviously we're going to lean a lot towards you just getting takedown after takedown if you need to.
I would make him fight. I would make him fight that B side. But, I mean, that fight interests me, but I'm after that paycheck, dude.
Yeah.
The more it benefits me that the more these guys continue to keep winning.
Does it bother you knowing that with everything you've done, the titles that you've won, all this stuff, that guys that just because they're in a higher weight class, they tend to make more money than you?
Nobody's really making money though, Big John.
No, there's some that are.
Yeah.
Like for what the fighters deserve in the UFC, man, there's like, you know what I'm saying? Like Conor McGregor, he's making money.
Yep.
And that's about it.
Yeah.
You know, $1 million is not a lot of money, man.
Well, what do you think is going to get it done, though? Like I've said, look, now, Henry, I've said this forever, is that the fact is that I think everyone would love to see a union. But the problem is, though, you can't get fighters to join together long enough for a union to happen. And if you do, then you're going to end up with something like where you have, I don't want to call them scabs, but you have the lower level fighters stepping in and the gravy train of the UFC basically to pump them up. Basically to make them sound like they're superstars. That's really what it comes down to. I mean, the one thing the UFC does very well is they promote their fighters. They make them stars. And so they can take anybody from any organization and eventually...
No, yeah, I mean, they promote the UFC if you really think about it. But we are the UFC, the fighters, but they control the UFC.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I don't, to me, it's like, I believe everybody should probably be treated different too, man, in that sense. Like, if you go out of your way to the antics, the shit that I'm doing. Like, come on, dude. My pay-per-views. I know I'm gonna be a pay-per-view draw. I mean, if you want to base it like that, the last fight was I think it was close to 900,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? More people were talking about my fight with Dominic Cruz than they were actually Gaethje and Tony Ferguson. And this was the stats that MMA Junkie had done. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you got to remember, in the pay-per-view market right now, 900,000 is like, that's money right there. I mean, like, they're barely breaking, 500 right now. Barely, if they're able to get there.
Anyways, man, that's the peak alpha in the room. But I think, I this is the thing, bro, is I respect Dana.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really do respect him as a boss. He's cool, man. He's cool with a lot of the friends that are cool with me. So if you're cool with me, you know what I'm saying? But I think everybody is has to go out and get it too. You know what I mean?
So what's it gonna take for Dana? What does Dana need to do to get you back and get you doing what you do best?
So I'm after the cheddar, bro.
I know you're after the cheddar. So how much cheddar do you want?
No,
I'm asking. I'm gonna go call Dana after the show and say, dude, come on.
Yeah, no, that's between me. That's between me and the boss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I don't want to throw those numbers public because like I said, I respect Dana. On top of all this, I just want a piece of the pie, dude. And if people want to kind of have it like that, they don't get together. That's all good. The strategy changes, man. We got to go out and also sell it too.
I also think that you're approaching this the right way. Is that business is business, friendship is friendship. With Dana, you guys seem like have a good working relationship, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
And if it gets done, it gets done. And if it doesn't, hey, that's the way business is handled. I think you're handling it very smartly. And I would love to. Obviously, I'm gonna be a little selfish because I want to see you back in there. So I'm gonna lean that way.
Yeah, but it's man, it's different. It's different, Josh, because when you literally have done everything you've ever set out to do, I like leaving that purity, man, on top. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I came back to the 2012 Olympics to make the Olympic team. My heart wasn't in it, bro.
Yeah.
And ended up not making the team. I no longer I wanted to leave like king, bro. Mm-hmm. In the sport of wrestling, bro. You know what I'm saying? But coming back for the wrong reasons, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go ahead, John.
You've got a gym in Arizona, Fight Ready. It's been doing fantastic. The guys out of the gym have been doing incredible. You got great coaches like Eddie Cha there. Your brother Angel is one of the coaches. You have a new student, I guess, or new fighter out of the gym, some guy named Jones. I don't know who he is really, but
Jon Jones,
another guy
he's pretty good.
Is kind of holding himself out of the fight game based upon he wants to make more money too.
Yeah. John is. I tell you what, man, that dude is a gifted ass human, bro. Jesus, man. Like as a fighter, you know what I mean? Like as a fighter, it's just like, man, this dude has natural ability. Just like, man, I'm a lightweight and I ain't even see that. I didn't even see that kick you just threw, and you're a heavyweight.
Yep.
It's crazy to think, right? Because you take someone from the 205-pound division, from the light heavyweight division, and you see the amount of success he could have at heavyweight with his athleticism. I mean, the things that I've heard from Jackson Wink and people talking about how good he was in the gym and how fun he was to work with, how much knowledge he shared with everyone else, and then DC having fought him, several times, just to see the things that he's been able to do. I mean, tell us, like, are we going to see him in this year potentially? You think we're going to end up seeing him because he seems like he's training like he's back on track.
No, of course, man. John's a competitor, bro. John wants to put on a stamp on top of the stamp, bro. He's already the GOAT, bro. You know what I mean? And the sport of mixed martial arts, too. There's nobody. I think the second person that comes behind him is Demetrius Johnson, just based on his title defenses and the thing that he was able to mix MMA, before getting knocked out, before losing to me. You know what I'm saying? Anderson Silva, like these dudes, but man, Jones he's in a mountain of his own, bro.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone can deny the fact that he is one of the most talented fighters. I think, if not the most talented fighter to ever step foot in the cage. The likeliness, though, of him fighting, straight for the title, do you see that happening, or do you think they're gonna want him to fight one fight and then fight for the title?
Well, of course. I think we got to see if Gon can. If he can outwit Francis Ngannou, you know what I'm saying? Get him tired, if he's able to. I think either one's a great matchup for John. I think everybody's a matchup for Jon Jones. I mean it because of his wrestling.
Yeah.
And he knows how to win, bro. Like, something about John, bro. Like, yeah, he's had close fights, but he won all those close fights.
Yeah.
If you really deep down look at all, it was like, there's no way people think he lost to Gustafsson in the first fight, or like, there's just no way, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh no, I've heard a lot of people thought that he lost to Gustafsson in the first fight.
I thought he lost the first fight.
See, there you go. There's a dummy right there.
But then again,
I've argued too long. As a guy who was standing in there, I was
live in the arena. I never went back and watched it again, but I was live in arena, and I had that.
Yeah,
the crowd was going crazy because they were seeing Gus come. He was an underdog, and I was part of that.
Yeah.
Like, God, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this is happening. You got to go back and watch it.
You got a blue-eyed angel and Jon Jones, dude. You know.
Oh man! So what is it like though to have, because you had Weili Zhang that came, did some work with you. You've got Jon Jones, coming to do some work with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot more top talented fighters coming through the doors.
Yuri's coming in next month. Light heavyweight that's fighting Glover Teixeira.
Yeah, Prochaska.
Yeah, he's gonna be coming out.
He's a good guy. He's unusual, but man, he's unorthodox, but he's fun. Yeah,
because I think the biggest thing, man, is Glover. More like Glover's wrestling is dangerous, man. For MMA, he has probably some of the best takedowns in MMA right now as a jiu-jitsu guy. You know what I mean?
And when he gets on top, his top pressure is pretty heavy, and guys have a hard time just getting him off. The heavier those guys at 205 heavyweights, they have a harder time getting him off. With his type of hip pressure.
Yeah. So a lot of things, man. Anticipate the takedown from him. You do get taken down, kind of, a lot of things on how to get up. Like, don't play that game with them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just think the reason why I've been able to kind of share my knowledge, man, after I've been pretty much done, John and Josh. And I think I've been liking it, man. Like, I've been able to develop a system actually with my mentor and a team of us, because we don't build a team. We're not part of a team. Like, we build a team around the athlete, but legitimately. Like having like weekly meetings, using science and hyperbaric pods, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Infrared lighting, just dynamic training, all based on science and numbers, bro.
Let me ask you this about one of the things. And when I did your first fight against Demetrius, and we know how that ended up, and you got hit with a shot to the body that would have hurt anybody. It's horrible.
Man, yeah. Speaking about that, John.
It's not, you see, and you could tell people, all of your air went out. It was gone because you could hear it go, and you were going, and I was like, oh, this is bad.
No, you took me out of misery. I tell people all the time, I was like, hey, man, I was like, Big John McCarthy's the best rep ever, because if some other asshole would have left it go on, dude, he would have probably killed me.
Comes to that point, he can't do anything. But
those body shots, man, they paralyze you, bro.
They're horrible.
He hit me with both, and he hurt me with both of them, Big John. Like, both of them, they were like knives. It was like, ooh.
But your training, you changed a little, some of the things up. And one of the guys, you have Eric Albertine there, and you started training with the Pitbull brothers. What was it like training with Patricio? Because both of you, in my opinion, you both changed once you guys started training together.
Yeah. I honestly, I think it was more of, he changed because of his karate coach, and he started kind of understanding like the distance game, the composure stuff, but like positional fighting. Mm-hmm. And then I'm just like, man, this dude he became a different fighter. So when I saw him fight against Benson Henderson, and he lost, even though he lost, Parker was like, oh no, this dude.
Yeah, but he was winning.
But he was winning the fight, dude, and he was sculling the dude. Yeah. And at that time, Benson Henderson was, man, just former champ. He had just lost his title, went into Bellator. And I just knew, so ever since I met up with him, so it's more of me, actually. I emulate his style, or at least his stance and his position. And I've been able to now, it becomes your own, you know what I mean? Because then you add your flair. Because notice I kick, Patricio doesn't. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Patricio has his left hook, his heavy rights. I'm more tactical, dude. I'll surprise you with certain things. You know what I mean?
Which is crazy because he kicks really well. He just doesn't throw it a lot, and then he also throws great combinations behind it all. I mean, have you guys worked together several times or for camps on end?
Yeah. A lot of times we would, the majority of the time we would actually work together, and feed off of each other. Yeah. Patricio, man, in my eyes, like prior to him losing to AJ McKee, I thought he was pound for pound, dude.
when you look at him stylistically, like you take someone like him, you've trained with him a bunch, and if you match him up against someone like Volkanovski, from what you've seen, what do you think?
I think Patricio's distance, bro. Think about it, dude. The dude was able to knock out Michael Chandler, bro, up a weight.
Yeah.
And with his distance recognition, his position, like Patricio's no slouch in takedown defense.
Yeah.
His takedowns, he took down Benson Henderson, bro, a couple times. Not even once, a couple times.
People underestimate everything about him.
Yeah, I put my money with Patricio with any of those dudes. Even though, AJ did beat him, he did beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like if anybody could beat AJ now, it is Patricio.
Yeah, I think the likeliness of seeing that automatic rematch because of the long-standing, like Patricio was the champ for so long,
makes
also
sense.
Being the champ at 155, it makes sense. When someone's shown that longevity and being the champion, I know there's nothing but respect between the two of you guys. I have a question though, is when you started developing your relationship in terms of like with Eric Alberson and those guys, you've known Alberson for how long?
Yeah, I've known him for since I was about a 16-year-old kid, man.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. You've had to put up with him that long?
Eric was a guy that corrupted me, man. he literally helped me at one point. He introduced me to my first girlfriend like ever. Literally. Or he helped me get her. I'm sorry.
But what is he? People don't understand how great of a coach he is, and not just a coach, but how well he breaks down game planning and putting things together.
He's a hype man too.
You talk about he is a hype man, but I mean, talk to us about pretty much what he brings to the table for all of you guys.
Yeah, Eric is he really is an onion, man. You know what I'm saying? There's behind him, flaunting and flossing and doing his thing, like his persona. He's a real smart dude, man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And once because a lot of people are like, oh, dude, this dude's just like, he's like hype man, kind of like what you said. Like, he's like, no, he's a coach when he needs to be a coach, and he's a hype man when he has to be a hype man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there's guys that you have to learn they have to decipher, like you running the shtick and then being who you really are. But when you hang around with someone like Chael, we talk about Chael all the time. He has the shtick for his thing, but when you get around him at events, it's like you very rarely see him because he's in his hotel room just hanging out or, grabbing food to go, whatever it is. And those are people that just have separate lives from what their shtick is. And so with him, he's just so ingrained every time I see him.
But his is a real life shtick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a shtick. Like, what I'm telling you, it's him.
That's how he is. Without saying, like, he's just a great guy.
That's it. All right, you've had a lot of great things happen recently. You recently got married. Congratulations.
Yes.
And you had your daughter. How has that changed you as a person, as a man, as a fighter, even though you haven't fought since you've become a dad? But are you in any way, is there anybody in this world you wouldn't punch in the face if they in any way did anything to your daughter?
Oh man, they could all get it.
That's it. That was the one thing I told everyone when my first child was born. I said, as soon as he grabbed my finger, I said, "That's it. Anyone touches them, I'm killing them. I don't care if they're 4 years old." Yeah,
no, it's beautiful, man. Like I grew up in a single parent home, so my mom I was raised by my mom, dude, and my brothers and sisters. I'm the second youngest of 7. Oh, wow. So just seeing like my baby cry and just the way she is, it's like I feel like she changes like every day. Every single day, man. She's like, oh man, that's like a new baby.
Ryan Reynolds is an actor. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but Ryan Reynolds is an actor. He's married. He's got a daughter now. He's like, oh yeah, I used to look at my wife and think and tell people, man, if anyone ever touched her, got near her, or did anything, I would just kill them. He's like, but then my daughter was born. He's like, and I look at my wife. He's like, if my wife touches her or looks at her the wrong way, I'm gonna get her too. It's like your kids all of a sudden just come in and just take over, and it's like even your wife before that was like, no, I'm gonna get her too. No, it's just, it's true, man. I would imagine it's true, brother. I have another question though about how did your relationship with Mike Tyson start, and how you guys have a pretty successful show and stuff. But I'm saying, like, how did that relationship develop between the two of you?
Yeah, it was. I think right after I beat TJ, and I think Mike had saw me beat Demetrius Johnson in LA. You know what I'm saying? So he was there when I beat Demetrius, and then he started his podcast. And then right after I beat TJ, man, he finally asked me to be on the show, and I was like, hell yeah, man, meet somebody like a legend like Tyson. Psh. And then we just, I've been smoking for about the last 6 years, man.
Yeah.
Sorry to break all the hearts out there, but I smoke about every day just to help me just help me relax. I think it's super good for me, man. It's got to mellow me out, bro. I don't drink coffee. I don't, you know what I mean? I need something to really like sizzle me. Anyways, I'm actually high right now. What were we talking about?
There you go. Good thing you put that doobie down just before.
Yes.
What were we talking about?
He's like, what? I'm high right now.
How did your podcast with Mike really first start?
So anyway, we smoked. We did mushrooms, and then I ended up doing DMT with Mike. Like,
oh my God, man!
So
I love it
because he was the toad. You know what he calls the Sonoran toad, which is that the frog that hibernates 10 months out of the year. They extract the venom, and then you end up smoking it.
Oh wow!
So me and Mike's always been it's a psychedelic. Like they don't see, or we don't see it as like a freaking like a heavy duty medicines. You know what? Like sorry, we see it as a medicine, but we don't see it as a freaking like a heroin, like where people kind of seem to make it out. Anyways, and ever since then, man, we just became friends, dude.
So this is something someday I got to see it. I got to see Mike Tyson and Henry Cejudo together smoking some toad's freaking venom.
Yeah, it's a trip, man. It's a trip.
That's great, man.
I'll be the guy taking notes.
Psychedelics, man. Psychedelics are it's a trip because you come out of a trip like that and you're not afraid of death, bro. Like you understand and you see death as a beauty now. Like it's a celebration. Like it's a trip, dude.
Does it make you feel weird at all? Like John, he's a former LAPD. Like just like people start talking about like does it? What about you, John? How do you feel when people start talking about it? Because things have changed. Like back in the day, right? Like marijuana was considered the gateway and this and that.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Like now it's all the science behind mushrooms and all the science behind HD, and weed and stuff.
I tell people all the time, look, I've never smoked marijuana, but it's not because I have anything against it. It's because I've had asthma my whole life and I don't smoke anything. No. I don't put anything in my lungs because I don't want any problems. But I've been on the cover of Cannabis magazine. My wife has got lupus, and I believe in there is medicinal purposes for marijuana. I think it's great for inflammation. There's a lot of good things with everything, and so everything's got its purpose. And anytime you abuse anything, that's when I go, if you're abusing something, probably not good. But if you're using it for certain things, and I say it all the time, there's guys like Nick Diaz and Nate. They smoke all the time, and it's good for them because it relaxes them. It makes them, be able to handle some of the pressures that are out there that normally cause them to have, anxiety and things. I don't have a problem with any of it. I just look at it and it's like, I couldn't do it, and it's like this whole thing, he says, you're not afraid of death. I'm not afraid of death. I haven't been since I was a young person because I realized at a certain point, I'm not worried about that. Why worry about something? And so, in some ways, I think I've been smoking a toad's venom on my own without really smoking.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, for sure. And everything that you're telling me, John, you will feel that. Like it's like it's crazy. It's an emotion that explains it to you, bro. And in every which way, bro. You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. Well, I'm going to get you out of here and give a little girl a kiss for us and a hug for us, man. And, hey, I want to wish you all the best. And, John, you got anything else for Henry here?
The only thing I got to say is, hey, best of luck with your gym and everything. And you got some great people in there. Keep doing great things with all the fighters there. And I hope to see you back sometime. But if you don't, doesn't matter. I'll buy you a beer, and I'll even watch you smoke some toad venom.
Heck yeah, man. Let's do it, man. Yeah, thank you guys so much, man. You guys stay tuned. Davidson Figueiredo's fighting next weekend. and then we're gonna go out there. We're gonna do an assassination of the assassin baby.
Ooh, there it is.
And then, do you have anything else coming up? Like, what's podcast shows, anything that you're doing? Behind the scenes that you want to maybe launch out. Let us everyone know.
Yeah, stay tuned for Hot Boxing too. I think we're gonna start that in February.
Okay.
With Uncle Mike, and that's it, man. It's just on the real estate hustle, man. The real estate game right now. I'm developing duplexes, sixplexes. Pipping all over Phoenix, man. All you Californians came out here, I'm about to make money.
Oh, all right, brother. Hey, where do people find your hot box at? If you guys come back in February.
Yeah, stay tuned, man. Stay tuned, because you know what I mean. There's always surprises with Uncle Mike.
Yeah,
sounds good, brother.
Best of luck with the negotiations. If you're able to get something on, like I say, we're trying to be selfish. We want to see you back in the cage. And brother, thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
I want to, man. Just show me the money, Dana. Anyways, Big John, pleasure,
Later,
man.
brother.
Pleasure, brother.
Josh,
Thank
pleasure. You guys have a good night.
Thanks. Well, welcome to 2022. We want to thank mybookie.ag for supporting us through all of 2021 and now rolling into 2022. Big John and I have been supported by them, and they've been supporting a lot of people out there by making them money. And the way you make money with them is you go to their site at mybookie.ag. Use our promo code WayneIn. They give you a little extra spending cash with a QR code that's right there, and that QR code will give you that extra cash. And if your first initial deposit can go up to $1,000, they give you a significant amount of money for that very first bet. And I'm telling you right now, you guys will not be disappointed. If you guys use us and our advice, we will help make you guys a lot of money. I'm just letting you know, because we've been pretty good, John. We've been on a roll lately in helping people make money. When you go back and watch some of the fights that we've predicted, people have come back and been very happy. Read our comment sections in the mybookie.ag area there and use the promo code WayneIn. Okay, with all the stuff coming up, you've got the you got the NFL football playoffs coming up. You got the NBA playoffs coming up as well. There's a lot of good things that are all coming around. NHL hockey, but the fights for sure is our world. Boxing is going to have a big year this year, I believe, and I think that we're going to help you guys with that as well. So with all the stuff coming up, go to mybookie.ag, use that promo code WayneIn so we can help you make a little extra cash.
All right, Josh, let's just put it out there. I think my man was a little bit high, but he was funny, and he's got the right attitude about everything. He's doing great things. His real estate business is really taking off. He's got a great gym with a lot of great fighters. He's doing it all right.
John, we've talked about this I don't know how many times. The outlook on life is easy to have when you've been as successful as he has been. Okay, there's nothing that he doesn't need to take anything personal, nothing serious. He knows the business. He's an Olympic gold medalist. Okay, he's already achieved that goal. Then he went on to become a 125-pound champ, the flyweight champ in the UFC. Then the 135 bantamweight champ. Now he's trying to get after the 145-pound title. UFC's not willing to get him to that level yet in terms of pay and what he's looking for. But the bottom line is, he's achieved everything he's ever set himself out to do. What is there not to be happy about? And just understanding where you at. And he said it from the beginning. If my career ended, which is pretty much, it seems like it's working that way, he's fine with it. And there's nothing to be he has nothing to be ashamed about.
No.
Look at that. Then
Ashamed.
everything he has done.
Got a lot to be proud of.
Exactly. That's my point. Like this young man, because he is younger
than us by a lot.
But yeah, by a lot. But he's a phenomenal athlete, and if you ever get a chance to be around him, he's a phenomenal person.
Yeah.
He's a fun, phenomenal person. Doesn't take much to heart. Just understands that, like, look, this is life. And I honestly, when I first met him, training with him, he was real intense. When he came to AK to see if we were going to come to AK to train before he started his MMA career, he was very intense. I'm like, this is young kid's like pretty intense. He didn't end up coming to AK, so I never really developed a relationship with him. But when later on came, I saw him, I saw him in the UFC and really putting on some big time fights and doing a really good job. I was like, man, this kid has developed so well. And he's just obviously very, very driven to be an Olympic gold medalist. But to see all the things he's achieved from that moment, that young kid that walked into AK, and was just driven and focused on what his goals were, and to where he is now, I'm just, wow. It's impressive, John. I got to be honest. It's very impressive.
Yeah. And I tried to bring it up in the interview and stuff. The real time when I saw the huge change in Henry Cejudo was when he started training with the Pitbull brothers, when he started actually being the sparring partner with Patricio. His whole game changed, the way he was able to control the fights, and that just made his wrestling even better. Even he wasn't using it at times, and that's what got him to that point where he became the champ, ends up becoming the double champ. I would love to see him back. I would hope the UFC someday will say, "Yep, we're going to pay you that money." I don't know what it is. Try to kind of weasel it out of him. Didn't work. It was a weasel move. Hopefully we see it. Yeah.
You brought up a good point, though. Look, young fighters, you guys pay attention to what he did and what he talked about. Look, just because you're winning, and I always say this, and I'm going to just basically go back on it right now. Winning solves everything. Yes, it does, and no, it doesn't. In this situation, he could be winning, but he had to develop that persona, the triple C, the cringe, all that stuff, before he started getting a lot more recognition. It wasn't good enough just to be a world-class fighter or a world-class Olympic gold medalist. So fighters in Bellator, fighters in ONE, in PFL, and in the UFC, if you guys are young and up and coming, learn from this. This is a very important situation. He took something from, like he said, he learned a little bit from Patricio. He learned that new style of the wider stance, the kicks, of utilizing his wrestling, and his distance was very key. He took that little bit from Patricio and he made that his. Okay, and he utilized that wrestling, and he kicks a lot more than Patricio. He utilized that as well. Then he took the advice from Chael Sonnen. Use it, man. Use your stick. Make one up. Be what it is. Be cringe, triple C, whatever you want to call it. Embrace it. Have fun with it. Understand that that's not who you really are. Okay. What you see outside of with other people that have done it, they take that outside and that's where they try to be, and it backfires. He doesn't do that. Chael doesn't do it. We've seen other guys do it that don't do it, and they've been successful doing it. If you're going to take anything from fighters, take something like that from a Henry Cejudo, who is taking a little bit of advice from top level people that have been successful in what they're doing. That's something you guys should try to do. I've said it before, winning solves everything, but in certain situation, sometimes it's just not enough, and you've got to do a little bit more to get there. And Henry, he's done it, man. He's done it. So tip my hat to him and all his success, and I hope to see him again.
Absolutely.
Hope to see him in there again. But look, we started off the show. I started getting into it a little bit.
You did.
About the Giga and the Giga and Kattar fight.
That's okay. That's a fight you can get geeked about.
I'm a geek when it comes to this type of fight. So, like I said, the boxing of Kattar, but like you said, is that he's a very well-rounded MMA fighter, and he's going to need to get the win against Giga. Now, Giga's made a very clear case that, hey, if I win this fight, I should have been the one that got the fight against Volkanovski. But, obviously they've already made that match, which we'll talk about later. But he is, with a win over Calvin Kattar and a dominant win, if he's able to do that, I think that puts him right into that conversation of getting that next fight being Yair Rodriguez, and then potentially right into a title shot. I could see that potentially happening if he gets a good and a dominant win. The last thing I'm going to say, John, maybe not the last thing, but I'm the last thing I'm going to say.
That's definitely not the last thing you're going to say.
Before I go ahead and say, John, take it away, are we going to see the same Calvin Kattar we saw before he fought Max Holloway? Are we going to see someone who is okay now?
You don't know. Let's just be honest. I think we are. I think we're going to see the same guy. I think he did the right thing. He did the smart thing. He listened to his coaches. He took time off. He healed himself up. He got rid of all of the damage that occurred in that fight, and he took a lot of damage. Now, does that mean that he's going to be the same fighter? We don't know. He doesn't know. His coaches don't know, because until you step into that cage at real speed and fight someone who's trying to take your head off, you just don't know. So, it could be that he's a little bit slower, and that's going to change things. That's going to change it up. And he'll have to either change his style a little bit, utilize the clinch work and the grappling a little bit more to make his striking more effective. But we're going to find out. But he's going against just a stone cold savage. This guy Giga is a killer on the feet, and it's his ability to bring in the kicks and the way he does it. And he'll hide his kicks behind his hands. He'll throw his hands. A guy will start to think that he's going to circle away from it, and all of a sudden he's getting a ball kick, to the solar plex. He's just always after you, and he's always trying to make you feel uncomfortable, and he's good with it. You know, he did it in the kickboxing game, and he's done it in an incredible way in MMA. And he's gone through some good fighters. You know, just take a look at the list of guys that he's gone through recently. You know, his last two, quick work of Cub Swanson, and whatever anyone wants to say, I have nothing but respect for Cub Swanson. That dude's a veteran. He's a killer. This is a guy that's fought everybody. And then his win against Edson Barbosa. You know, I did like the fact he was trying to submit him at the end, but it's like, this dude, he's the real deal, man. And you talk about confidence, you talk about believing in yourself. That is Giga.
Yeah, the thing is, when I look at the Edson Barboza fight, Giga understood that Edson's not going to try to take him down. So he could just be himself on the feet, and that makes it a lot easier for things to fly.
Sure.
If Calvin Kattar is smart, he will try and work into some takedowns, not force himself so much to try and get them, but at least make the threat there, and also make him work in those positions of trying to stop the takedown or getting back up to his feet if he does get the takedown. Yeah. Calvin Kattar, when you said that he may not be as fast, I think he'll still have the same speed. But the thing is, the amount of damage he took in that last fight, he may be second guessing himself when he lets things go. He may be flinching a little bit. Because this amount of time off, John, it starts to wear on you a little bit. You start thinking, like, second guessing whether you're going to be able to go out there and just pull the trigger like you were. The fight speed is not the same in training, as we've continued to say over the years of us working and doing this show together. So when it comes down to it, will Calvin Kattar let things go when the moment arises, or will he be that split second off in those first couple rounds, which by then the fight might be over? That's a question I want to see, and we're going to find that out right off the bat. I think within the first minute and a half, we're going to find out if the Calvin Kattar is going to come out with confidence, let it go, and understand that last fight was not a fluke, but something that he can work through. Hey, you know what? I took my damage. I'm good. I understand what I did wrong. I went back and I reevaluated myself, and I'm here to fix it.
But I think taking the full year off, because it's basically 1 year since that fight. Taking the full year off, I think that was one of the smartest things that Calvin could have done. And so we're going to find out.
I'm pumped for that fight.
Yeah, it's a good one. It is a good one.
I'm pumped for that fight. What other fights are on that card?
Oh, the person that if you go to our weighing interjection, I talked about Caitlin Chikadze and who I wanted to see her fight. She's got a tough fight against Jennifer Maia. That's a fight that, Jennifer's gave, Valentina. If you're going to look at anyone that gave Valentina at least some struggle and won a round, it was Jennifer Maia. No one else has been doing it. So, Jennifer, if she takes Chikadze into the ground, it's going to be a tough night for Caitlin. And if Caitlin can keep the fight in the stand-up, and she's just a volume striker, someone that really comes after you with a ton of different techniques, a ton of shots, not a whole ton of power behind it, but she just keeps on, throwing those things with so much volume that eventually it wears someone down, wears them out, and she catches them with a clean shot. So we'll see if she can do that to Jennifer.
Right, I'm going to go full homer on all you guys,
Here we go.
I didn't see this from before until right now, actually, because I don't know if he was already signed for this fight. It was Michael Pereira versus Andre Fiallo.
Well, Fiallo just signed for that fight.
Yes, that's what I thought. Because I believe who was Pereira supposed to fight before?
Oh my God, now I've already forgotten it.
It was a good fight though.
No, it was. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot it.
So, anyways, Fiallo is somebody who is he's training.
Oh, it was Muslim. Salnikov. I can't say it, but
Muslim Salikov.
Yeah,
Salikov, Muslim. Okay, Muslim Salikov. So then Andre Fiallo, who's got big power in his hands. Okay, he's quick. He's got to make sure he's explosive. Let me just give you guys some advice on him. He does have a good double leg. He can wrestle. Not all that great on the ground. He's got some, I'd say, blue belt.
He's got good ground and pound.
Yeah, he's got good ground and pound. He's got decent level jiu-jitsu. I'd say blue belt, purple belt level, in terms of jiu-jitsu. Yeah. But he's got heavy hands. He's quick with his combinations. He's got a power double. He's taking Rockhold down. I've seen him take DC down. And now, don't get me wrong. Like, this is training we're talking about.
No, he took DC down. Just say it.
Yeah, he did. He did take it down. But it's just funny because, he's explosive. That's the thing about him. He's extremely explosive. He's got good, like I said, he's got good hands. This makes for a fun fight. The two of them got to get it. He's got to be very cautious, though, of Pereira in the first round. As the fight goes on, he's got to go ahead and start letting the combinations go, pick and choose his shot. He's got to move his head offline.
There you go. That's what I was going to say. Where he ended up, he was fighting in Bellator, and his first loss, I think, in Bellator was to Chidi Njokuani, and it was, man, his head was, and it didn't take long, head straight down the center, did not move, thought he was going to throw with power and got caught. So he just needs to take his time in this fight, realize it's okay if I lose the first round of this fight. Let me take this guy into the later rounds. Let me work with him. Let me make him tired, and then just piece him up. So this is not an easy fight for Pereira to come in, last minute against. He is fighting a real dude. Andre is good.
Yep, and then I'm going to play Homer one more time to my boy Gabriel Benitez, Mowgli. He's got to come out there and get it done, man. I'm wishing him nothing but the best. I haven't seen him in probably like over a year now, but just kind of keep in touch with him a little bit here and there. One of his head coaches, who was one of our head coaches, Javi, was at AK, and he passed away from cancer. We lost him, I'd say probably about 8 months ago, and it's been a little bit of a hard transition for Mowgli, so that was kind of one of the biggest things with him. And but I'm wishing him nothing but the best, man. So I'm just being Homer in there, but also giving him my love and supporting him, and hopefully he does well.
He's going against TJ Brown, who had a great fight. It was a very close battle between him and Kai Kamaka, I believe, in his last fight. So that was that's going to be a good one. Benitez does
power, man.
Benitez does kick like a mother, though.
It is the worst getting kicked to the body by him. The absolute worst, and it's quick and it's snappy and it's disgusting. I can't think of another word, because he kicks to the body, and then he also does a toe kick to the solar plex. So it's not really to the body. It is to the body, but it's like more of that toe kick up into the gut. Yep. I think who else does that is Machida. Machida does it very well.
Giga Chikadze
also. Does he? Yeah, same thing, huh?
Horrible.
So, man. Look, overall, I think there's a couple great fights in here, but realistically, I don't give a crap. Take my money. If it was pay-per-view, I would love to watch this Giga and this Kattar fight.
Yeah.
If it was a pay-per-view, and even if the rest of the card sucked, I would still probably be like, yo, take my money for that fight. That fight's one of those fights, man. One of those fights. All right, let's jump into some news. Well, what we have found out was Henry Cejudo is not going to be fighting Volkanovski, which is very unfortunate. But you got Korean Zombie. Which I talked about last week was I said I think the front runner, because Volkanovski was the only one that Volkanovski commented on, was, you know what, that makes sense.
Yep.
And every critic came out, every fighter that was trying to get at Volkanovski said, "Oh, he just wants the easy fight."
Not an easy fight.
It's not, John, but it kind of is stylistically for Volkanovski.
Stylistically, it matches up well for Volkanovski, but it's not an easy fight.
It's not an easy fight. No, it's definitely not an easy fight, but it does match up very well for him.
Yeah.
I think all aspects of this fight, he's got to be careful he don't get hit by Korean Zombie. That's what he's got to be careful. But the speed of Volk, the reach of Volk, the wrestling of Volk, the leg kicks of Volk, all of those things, because Korean Zombie just walks at you like a fucking zombie and just kind of keeps his hands here, and he's good, he's tough, he's got a great chin. He's a dog, but stylistically, I think he matches. This is the best fight for Volkanovski. You think they're doing him a favor by giving him this one? Like, hey, Max dropped off.
I look at it and say, they had a choice. I didn't think Yair was a real choice coming off of a loss. I'm sorry, even though he had a great, great showing against Max, but it's a loss. So that makes it to where, well, that's gone. Brian Ortega is obviously not, part of the equation right now. So you take a look at, it could have been Emmett. That would have kind of made sense. He's coming off of a win, coming off of his injury and stuff like that. Possibility, the wrestling wise, maybe, Volk looks at that and goes, why am I going to go with a guy that's got really good wrestling and power in his hands when I can go with a guy like Zombie, who's got decent wrestling, power in his hands, but he comes straight at me. So I know where he's going to be, and I know where I can take advantage of it. So I look at, if you're Volkanovski and you're the champ, your job is to say, that's the guy I want to fight. It's okay. He didn't pick his opponent. His opponent was Max. Max had to pull out. So he's got this list, and, I thought it was, I think Jason House, the manager for Zombie, was the first one on the thing saying, you need to fight the Korean Zombie. He said, yeah, that sounds good to me. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I would say we caught a lot of flack because I actually more so probably me, because I was pitching a little bit for the Yair thing. Like, hey, I kind I could see it happening. You said no, it couldn't happen, but then everyone went and said, well, Corey Sandhagen got to fight for the title. Yeah, but that was the interim title.
Yeah,
he wasn't catapulted into fighting for the undisputed title. He was fighting Peter Yan for the interim belt.
Yeah.
And so that was two people that were basically coming off
losses.
Yeah,
if you
both
look
coming
at
off losses.
Yeah.
But both of them were ranked number 1 and number 2. So if you're two best guys, whatever it is, they deserve to fight for that belt.
Yeah.
Number 1 and number 3, I think, is what Sandhagen's 3 because he lost to TJ. So when you're talking about that, like, it made sense. TJ was out. Well, Sandhagen and Peter Yan, it made sense for them to fight for the interim belt. They're not the actual undisputed title champ. So that's why this would be for the actual title to fight Volkanovski. So the Yair thing didn't make as much sense as I would like to have made it out to be.
That's all right.
All right, what else you got for
There's
us, Dave?
another one that they came out with that I'm really looking forward to. This is the fight forever this fight should have been happening. This has got everything that you could want. Colby Covington versus Street Jesus. Come on. Masvidal versus
Jesus
Covington.
or Judah?
Yeah, it's Street Judah. Yeah, it is Street Judah.
He's you know what? That beard, he's a good looking man. It's got that. Yo, man, I love me some Masvidal, man. He's a good dude, man. I love watching him fight. He's a gamer, and I love the persona and the way he carries himself into the cage. And I ain't got nothing against Colby, man. I like actually his stick as well. It's a stick. If you guys don't believe me, you guys are fooled. All right, everyone that's been around him has been like, it's a stick, and you see the way he was after the Usman fight. He came up and said, hey, man, like the things I said, this and that, blah, blah, blah.
It's all about selling.
Just trying to make that money. Yep. Smart man. At the end of the day, fighting's not going to last forever. You got another 40, 50 years after you're done fighting if you fight till you're 40. Think about that. All right, so you got to make that money as much as you possibly can at the prime of your career, and he's doing that. He's doing the best he can. He's not champ yet or whatever, but, he's doing the best he can. He was the interim champ, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was the interim champ, I believe. Yeah, he was the interim champ. But this fight right here makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
They got bad blood. They got a little beef. And
Used
I think
to be
you're going to see them
roommates.
shake it.
Come on.
Yeah, I think you're gonna see them shake it out. I think you're gonna see them shake it out at the end. After they're done with this fight, I think you're gonna see the two of them shake it out. Unless it's a barn burner. If it's a barn burner back and forth, watch for them both to talk shit at the end so they get an automatic rematch and they to make double the money. Just watch. I'm calling it now, John. But I don't know if it's going to be a barn burner, man. I think Colby Covington, the amount of wrestling and the cardio and the way he pushes the pace, Masvidal is someone who needs to slow the fight down, let the fight develop in front of him, pick and choose his shots, throw those nasty body kicks and head kicks, and he just puts it together with his boxing and his kicks. Colby's going to have a hard time, but I think if Colby keeps pressing that pace, he's got to be very careful getting knocked out, dipping his head, throwing that lazy jab the way Colby does. Because Masvidal is on point with that uppercut and those kicks and those knees, man. John, this is a fun fight, though. I can't wait for the presser.
No, this is going to be fun. It's going to be fun all the way up to it. I can't wait to hear what Colby has to say, and I cannot wait to hear what Masvidal has to say because he's going to be talking about, he's going to baptize him, and that's the way it should be.
They're also saying
he's going to bring the holy water. He's going to bring the holy water. Just start spraying it all over him.
What's that, Dave?
The report or the rumor, I'd say the report, but it's that this is going to headline 272, which doesn't currently have a main event. They bumped Jan and
they bumped Jan and Sterling to 273 behind Volkanovski and the Zombie.
Is this a pay-per-view? Because it's not a title shot.
Yeah, this is a pay-per-view, and this is this is what they're saying is the main event fight. I read it somewhere that they said it's a main event fight. ESPN is not reporting it as a main event fight, but they're not reporting it as not the main event fight either. So,
well, if it's the main event, that means there won't be title fights because the title fight's always the main event. So there must not be another title fight. They must have another fight they're thinking about putting together.
It's going to be hard for. I don't see this being the main event if it's a pay-per-view. They have too many title fights that they have to do, and you don't have that many opportunities. But
they get those two. They get the two title fights on the the
273
bantamweight, and then they've got Izzy coming up. They've got the heavyweights this month. I mean, you kind of, and then you got Usman just fought and lightweights. All
what do you mean Usman just fought? He fought the man you're looking at right there in Colby Covington.
Like a month ago?
Hell?
Like a month, and it couldn't be. He
wasn't a month ago.
It feels like it was
in October.
Wasn't it December?
This
Was
is
it
why
not?
we have so much frustration with you.
Oh my God. You've been watching the WWE, haven't you?
Yeah.
Wasn't it
yeah.
December?
Come on, man. Look
Was
it
it-
up,
was it
dude.
December?
I want you to
Oh,
look
come
it up and see because it's just embarrassing.
All right.
Maybe if
November.
it's December, it's November, so it wasn't that
It was
far
November.
away.
Okay.
That's why I said I knew it was November. So that's why I said no.
jeez.
November.
Oh, it was Juliana Pena that won the last month. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Damn, you think Colby Covington and Juliana Pena look alike? You are a sick bastard.
Explains a lot. Explains a lot. Oh man. All right, what else you got for us?
So that's gonna wrap us up for news on that one. And that's gonna wrap up this week's.
That's gonna wrap up the whole show. That's what
Damn.
you brought for us. That's it. That's all you got, my friend. All right. Well, hey, make sure you guys go to prowrestlingtees.com/weighing in. Use our promo code and still, and then also post a picture of you wearing our shirts. We have a plethora of colors to choose from.
Look at you with
All
the
of
big
it.
words, plethora.
Big words. I know. I used to use that word back in the day, but then
You know where you first heard that?
Got it. You.
Really?
Was
Damn.
it you? Was it you? I think it was you.
It might have been me, but Bruce Beck. I got it from Bruce Beck. Bruce Beck used to be not the first definitely not the first announcer. That was Bill Wallace. He was horrible. But the first good play-by-play guy in the UFC was Bruce Beck, and he worked with Jeff Platnick. Bruce Beck still works in New York at NBC. He's fantastic, and he always used to say plethora. I love that.
Really?
word. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to one day. Hopefully, I'll run into this Bruce Beck guy. Be like, hey, plethora to you. My
He's
friend.
great, man.
Plethora.
Great guy.
Yeah. So pick out one of our shirts. Make sure you guys post a picture of you guys wearing it, and we will retweet, repost it. And also go to our audio platforms. They've been skyrocketing lately. We want to thank you guys so much for listening to us. I know that we've slowed down on the YouTube section in terms of how many we're gaining every week, but guess what? We're gaining them almost double on the audio platforms. I think people are having to go back to work, so they're listening to us in the car, which I've recommended before several times.
Oh, that way they don't have to see us. It's even better.
Yeah, that's very, very well played by the way, you guys. Because today I look like shit. Anyways, but hey, make sure you guys hit the subscribe button. Spotify, iTunes are the two major platforms that a lot of people seem to be listening to us on. But we're also available on Stitcher, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, all of those as well. So make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. I want to thank you guys. Go to our Weighing In Extras as well. We do Weighing Interjection, which is a special show only for that channel. Hit that subscribe button there and the notifications bell. I want to thank you. I just said a whole lot. There's a lot of subscribing going on. Make sure you guys subscribe because there's a lot of subscribing going on. But John, go ahead and take us off, buddy.
Hey, I just want to say thank you very much to the King of Cringe, Mr. Triple C, Henry Cejudo, for coming on with us. To everyone out there, have a good time. Be safe. Be kind to everyone else. And we will see you.